Hi, this is Knox from the podcast with Knox and Jamie. And maybe like us at the podcast, you also know people who have been smokers or vapors. And Zyn is the one product it seems like everyone is talking about because there are many good reasons to make a change to Zyn nicotine pouches. Reasons like Zyn nicotine pouches are still America's #1 choice for smoke-free, hands-free nicotine satisfaction. And you can choose between 10 varieties, each variety available in either 3 or 6 milligrams. Check out zyn.com/find to find Zyn at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Monday Sidekick, the AI agent that knows you and your business, thinks ahead and takes action. Ask it anything, seriously. Monday Sidekick, AI you'll love to use. Start a free trial today on monday.com.
Hey friends, it's Nikayla from the podcast Side Hustle Pro. I'm always looking for ways to keep my kids entertained without screens, and the Yoto Mini has been a total lifesaver. My kids are obsessed. Yoto is a screen-free audio player where kids just pop in a card and listen. Hours of stories, music, podcasts, and more, and no screens or ads. With hundreds of options for ages 0 to 12, it's the perfect gift they'll go back to again and again. Check it out at yotoplay.com. YOTOPLAY.com.
AI had the time of my life. AI never felt this way before.
From building timelines to assigning the right people and even spotting risks across dozens of projects, Monday Sidekick knows your business, thinks ahead, and takes action. One click on the star and consider it done.
And I owe it all to you.
Try Monday Sidekick, AI you'll love to use on monday.com.
Hi, this is Knox from the podcast with Knox and Jamie. And maybe like us at the podcast, you also know people who have been smokers or vapors. And Zyn is the one product it seems like everyone is talking about because there are many good reasons to make a change to Zyn nicotine pouches. Reasons like Zyn nicotine pouches are still America's #1 choice for smoke-free, hands-free nicotine satisfaction. And you can choose between 10 varieties, each variety available in either 3 or 6 milligrams. Check out zyn.com/find to find Zyn at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Hello, I'm Sarah.
I'm Toby.
And welcome to day 19 of 31 days of Halloween. I've got 3 spooky stories to share today. I want to give a quick trigger warning for all 3 of these stories though, because they do all mention suicide. Nothing explicit as always, and it just was coincidental that all 3 of them did. I'll get straight into it. Are you ready? Or the first story.
Yes, I am.
What did I encounter, and what can I do? A man was shot to death in 2007 while living in my home. Another man was shot to death in the home in 2012. In 2016, a man died in the home from naturally deemed causes. In 2021, a woman died after getting cancer and abruptly dying. Our records only go back to 1997. Fast forward. My wife, 4-year-old daughter and I moved in February 2024. Things started like any other home. It was old, renovated, and we were enjoying the new space. However, almost within weeks of moving into the home, I started experiencing mysterious illnesses the doctors cannot explain. First, it was the gout. It inflamed both of my feet, and I'm 27 years old at the time. Perfectly healthy. My doctor says there's no apparent cause, as my blood doesn't have enough acidic material to even come close to producing gout. All the while, I lose a local election. I had good odds of winning. My tenants stop paying and destroy my property. My wife loses her job. I lose $15,000 in property damages. I get hit with a random tax bill for $10,000. And a DUI driver hits my car, destroying it while parked at our house. I also sell a company and don't get paid. Within 6 months of living there, my entirety goes from $2,400,000 to $200,000. My bank account goes from $130,000 to $5,000 tops. Everything I had was lost. I have to get a job while I sue the people who took my business and its assets without paying myself and my partners. But I can't seem to keep a job. I'm tired because of cuts or random events removing my position, typically within a month of working. Then it happens. My wife is scratched with a massive 3-scratch mark down her arm. It's so apparent that I wrote it off as her doing it in her sleep. Soon after, it was like every night a new smoke alarm would go off in the middle of the night. We replaced the batteries and they would still go off. We had to disconnect every smoke detector in the home just to sleep. Meanwhile, my illnesses continue. I begin passing out and going to the hospital for stroke and heart attack-like symptoms. I even faint completely when my wife says I was saying, "Look up, look up, look up," over and over. We never understood it. Again, every time, my doctors and the emergency room are saying there's nothing wrong and I couldn't have had these symptoms. Eventually, I had to sell off all my rental properties to survive. I was losing money hand over fist. We received about $26,000 after expenses, debts and repairs. We decided to reinvest every dollar in our future. I sent my wife to school to get a certificate for a career. Couldn't get a job with it. I invested in new property. Lost all of the money. I put myself back in school for a license with the state as a general appraiser. Again, within a month, I lose my job over no fault of my own. Then can't use any of my certs. Things get worse in the home. We start to notice things my wife has been noticing since we moved in. One night, at 3 a.m, a massive crash wakes up the whole house. It's so loud we believe someone tried to break down our door. I walk out to the living room and I see all of our photos and canvas on the floor. It was shocking and scary. For the first time in the home, I felt scared. The photos were on all 4 walls in the living room. The only place we had photos, all 4 walls of photos down and hooks and nails were still on the wall. I was shook. I couldn't sleep. I tried to put it behind me, but I can't seem to explain what happened. At this point, we've had another daughter in the home, just a baby. We're about 14 months into living there. We then moved my wife's younger 14-year-old sister into the home for the summer. She's immediately scratched night 1 in the home. I once again don't believe it. I'm also feeling very depressed, financially drained, emotionally drained, and quick to get angry. I'm unable to sleep most nights, and I'm constantly tired. My back is in pain, and my body and head hurts every day. This week, before the main event happens, I attempt suicide by hanging. A soft attempt, but I didn't feel like myself when I did it. I had my kids in the other room, and I had almost no feelings at all. I prayed with the belt around my neck, and it's like a wave of emotion came over me. Things intensified, cabinets started slamming, doors opening on their own. loud footsteps clearly as they sound, scratching sounds at night like animals. And then every night my head starts hurting. I start feeling faint again. My wife walks in and looks at my face and she's scared. She said, "You look really flushed." I said, "I don't feel well." I go to sit on the porch and I start feeling numb. My whole body goes numb and I start getting really angry with my wife for no reason. I see her face and I'm so mad I can't see. I see my daughters and I have no emotion whatsoever. My wife sees me outside and almost screams. She says, "My face, what's wrong with my face?" My eyes were blank as if I was not there. I tell her that I need to leave, now. We pack up a couple of bags and leave. While driving away, I start feeling normal and I start dry heaving. We called a paranormal non-profit and had them come in and investigate. They were there for about an hour and one lady was scratched, walking sounds recorded, voices caught on audio and knocks were recorded from an entity. They also had random EMF spikes. The psychic medium said there were several spirits in the home, several dark, several not, but one was particularly dark and powerful, likely not human, that's been haunting this home for a long time. We presented the evidence to the landlord after we left. They told us not to contact them and they have resisted the home for rent. The whole experience was more than what I can fit in here, has been traumatizing and eye-opening. What can we do to help future people, and what do you believe we encountered? I was a skeptic turned believer. I need to know why this happened. Update. Since leaving, I've lost £15, got a great job, bought a new car, and things have returned to normal. I do think when you move, you've got to do some kind of blessing on any new home. I also do it when I buy anything, especially if it's old and from the charity shop.
Yeah, I was about to say something from a charity shop probably got some haunted stuff.
Yeah, so you got to bless it and probably get rid of anything nasty attached to it. But I think it would be very easy to associate a load of bad luck with something in the house, especially if lots of bad stuff has happened before to other people. And I'm not sure that I would have been able to live there. Do you know, if we have...
You've got to do your history.
Yeah, I was going to say that if we move at any time, we are doing in-depth research to make sure that nothing bad or spooky has happened. Because I hate moving and I wouldn't want to have to pack it all up and move again. I just dread it. Are you ready for the second story?
Yes, I am.
My mum's auntie fought an entity and went mad. This happened to my mother's aunt a long time ago in rural India and was told to me by my mum and grandparents. Back then, girls were married off very young, and my mum's aunt was probably in her early 20s at the time, with a son around 4 or 5 years old. There was a family wedding happening a few villages over, and her mother had cooked lots of delicacies and packed some wedding ritual items that needed to be delivered ahead of time. She asked her eldest daughter, my mum's aunt, to go 2 days early and deliver everything. She agreed, picked up the packed goods from her mother's house on the way, took her son with her, and started walking toward the wedding destination. That time, people travelled by foot, through forests and villages, as there were no buses or phones. The walk was around 3 to 3.5 hours, and one had to pass through 2 villages and a forest. While crossing through the forest, near a small brook, she saw a woman standing far away. dressed in full red bridal attire and wearing a lot of gold jewellery. The woman was smiling at her, and my mum's aunt assumed she was from the village ahead and smiled back politely. The woman suddenly approached quickly and, according to my aunt, looked incredibly beautiful and well-dressed. She came near and said, "I am barren. Give me this boy. I'll raise him as my own." My aunt laughed it off and continued walking, but the woman rushed ahead and blocked her path again, this time saying, "Take all my gold, just give me the child." Getting irritated, my aunt hurled some curses and walked past again. But this time the woman leapt into the air and landed ahead of them, blocking the path for the third time. This is when my aunt realised something was wrong. The woman's breathing grew heavy. She started growling like an animal. Her skin turned pale and rotten, and her eyes became pitch black. There was no white in them, just black pupils. A horrible smell started coming off her. The scariest part, my mum's aunt's son suddenly began trying to break free from her grip, saying he wanted to go with the woman. He started scratching her arms, trying to pull away with all his strength. In her bag, which was tied up in a bedsheet like a backpack, she remembered she had carried a chimta, an iron tongue used to make music at weddings and religious functions. Desperately, she pulled it out and began attacking the entity with it. To her surprise, it burned her. The creature growled and stepped back, but kept blocking the path. Crying and shouting for help, my aunt dragged her son with one hand and kept hitting the entity with the other until she reached the end of the forest. Just at the edge near a peepal tree, a tall man dressed in white appeared from behind the tree. He stepped forward calmly, and the entity growled loudly and stepped back. The man shouted at the kid, saying, "Come to your senses, you fool." The kid suddenly stopped trying to escape and started crying. The man then turned to my aunt and said, "Don't worry, she can't cross as long as I'm standing here. You go ahead." She started walking away quickly, but the man caught her again and said, "You making me stand here and protect you? You're carrying sweets and still won't offer me any." She quickly opened her bundle, handed him a few sweets, and he told her to place them on a leaf under the tree, saying he'd eat them later. She reached the village, told everyone what happened, and they helped her get to the wedding safely. But what followed was tragic. Just days later, my mum's aunt lost her mental stability. She began running out of the house, searching for her brother at night, crying and shouting, hallucinating things that weren't there, and was never the same again. She lived the rest of her life mentally disturbed, and about 5 to 6 years ago, she died by suicide after jumping into a water body. She got old, but never mentally well after that day. No one ever found out who the man in white was. Some believe he was a guardian spirit, some think he was a saint, but no one really knows. I once asked why the chimta was able to hurt the entity, and was told maybe it was because it was made of iron, or maybe because it had been used often in devotional gatherings and carried some kind of spiritual charge. No one knows for sure, but it saved their lives. This was a really great story. Unfortunate, obviously, that the aunt did suffer mentally, but it's really good. I shouldn't say that, should I? But it's a really good story, because the woman showing up and wanting the child is terrifying.
Yeah.
And I wonder who the bloke was who rescued her, basically. I wonder if he's like, if the both of those entities are attached to the woods or something. Or maybe he was like the equivalent of a witch doctor who knew that this beast was in the woods and it was after children. Great, though. I'll stop saying that because it's not great, but shall we go? Are you ready for the third and final story?
Yes, I am.
Mother's Scream Dream. When I was 8 years old, my father committed suicide. Living in the house where he walked the floors daily became too much for my mother and older brother to bear, so we moved to cope with the loss. My brother and I had 2 separate bedrooms upstairs, while my mother had the master bedroom in the basement. Keep in mind for later, you could hold full-on conversations at normal volume through the air ducts in the entire house. The entirety of my childhood, my mother did not work. She was depression-prone and mostly bedridden due to various medical issues. As it may sound, there was always an air of death in the house. Family never came to visit us. We would get ourselves to school, make our own dinner, put ourselves to bed, and repeat. My 8-year-old self did not realise that my mother was seriously contemplating suicide at the time. One early morning, the landline rang, which was honestly odd for us. My mum answered it. Here is my mother's scream dream. She claims that a black hooded mass or entity awoke her, standing or floating at the foot of her bed. Hovering over her, it spoke. There's nothing here for you. It's time to come with me. She claims to have been so frozen with fear she could barely speak, let alone move. My mum says she mustered up the courage and through pouring tears pleaded with the figure that her sons needed her. The thing then spoke to her. If you are actually needed here, I'll give you one chance. One chance to yell, one chance to scream for somebody you think cares about you. If they hear you, you may stay. So naturally my mother starts screaming at the top of her lungs for her own mother. She says that she screamed until she blacked out. We all woke up when the phone rang that morning. It was my grandmother. She said, "Guys, you're not going to believe this, but I was woken up in the middle of the night to your mother screaming at the top of her lungs." We lived in Massachusetts. My grandmother lived in New Hampshire. Me and my brother would have heard her scream. Hell, we would have heard her if she got out of bed. To this day, I cannot explain it.
Third down. Did you see the game last night? Of course you did, because you used Instacart to do your grocery restock. Plus, you got snacks for the game, all without missing a single play. And that's on multitasking. So we're not saying that Instacart is a hack for game day, but it might be the ultimate play this football season. Enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 orders. Service fees apply. For 3 orders in 14 days. Excludes restaurants. Instacart. We're here.
Monday Sidekick, the AI agent that knows you and your business, thinks ahead and takes action. Ask it anything. Seriously. Monday Sidekick, AI you'll love to use. Start a free trial today on monday.com.
I thought this was really interesting because it's like that mother-child bond, that scream somehow got through to the grandmother and she was there to rescue, to help with the situation. It's a very sort of ancestry type ghost story, even though the grandmother was still alive.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I need to stop saying I like these stories, but I just think that it was really good. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, that's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
We will indeed. We will catch you again tomorrow. Take care, everyone.
Goodbye.
Hi, this is Kim and Penn Holderness from the Laugh Lines podcast. Boost Mobile offers the same nationwide coverage, network speed, and service consumers are used to, but at more affordable prices. Why pay more if you don't have to?
Boost Mobile offering reliable nationwide coverage backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Love your service or get your money back, no questions asked.
While other carriers blow millions on Super Bowl ads, we put that money to work for you, delivering reliable 99% nationwide coverage at affordable prices.
Start saving on wireless today with Boost Mobile's unlimited plans starting at just $25 a month.
The Boost Mobile network, together with their roaming partners, cover 99% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds not available in all areas.
Visit your nearest Boost Mobile store or find us online at boostmobile.com.
Customers who cancel within 30 days of activation will have Boost service fees refunded. Activation fees, if applicable, and phone payments will not be refunded.
Hey friends, it's Nikayla from the podcast Side Hustle Pro. I'm always looking for ways to keep my kids entertained without screens, and the Yoto Mini has been a total lifesaver. My kids are obsessed. Yoto is a screen-free audio player where kids just pop in a card and listen. Hours of stories, music, podcasts, and more, and no screens or ads. With hundreds of options for ages 0 to 12, it's the perfect gift they'll go back to again and again. Check it out at yotoplay.com. YOTOPLAY.com.
Hi, this is Knox from the podcast with Knox and Jamie. And maybe like us at the podcast, you also know people who have been smokers or vapors. And Zen is the one product it seems like everyone is talking about, because there are many good reasons to make a change to Zen nicotine pouches. Reasons like Zen nicotine pouches are still America's #1 choice for smoke-free, hands-free nicotine satisfaction. And you can choose between 10 varieties, each variety available in either 3 or 6 milligrams. Check out zen.com/find to find Zen at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.